Hello and welcome to CHD 265, which is the Advanced Observation course for the summer semester. So even though this course is going to be run as an independent study, which just basically means that you are going to be working at your own pace, I did want to do kind of an introductory video to just kind of help you understand what the guidelines of the course are and all of the resources that I have set up for you. So as you know, 265 is the second observation course where you are required to do 60 hours in a classroom. The difference between 265 and 165 is that in 165 you are just observing one child for 60 hours, whereas in 265 you are actually teaching in the classroom. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is gather all of your lesson plans that you've done for all of the other courses. So you probably have at least 8 lesson plans because you did one for 118, one for 119. You may have done 3 for 145, which is art, music, and movement, and you may have done 3 for 146, which is math, science, and social studies. You are only going to need to teach 5 of those lessons while you're in the classroom. Now, sometimes one of the challenges is finding a classroom to do your 60 hours in during the summer. The nice thing is that you really aren't required to be in a classroom that is going to have structured school all day long. So what that means is that if you go to a center where they're running like a weekly summer camp, that still counts. It's not like 165 where you could only count hours if your child was there. In 265, as long as you are able to be in the classroom helping the teacher and teaching those 5 lessons, it doesn't have to be as structured as 165 needs to be. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and find a center. Now, if you are able to get into a center or a school before the end of the school year, you may be able to knock out these 60 hours in a few weeks. But you do have the full 10 weeks to get the 60 hours done, but you do have to complete all 60 hours in order to successfully pass the course. The other thing that's really important is this is the first time and the first class that really is going to have you having some extensive interaction with children, which means that you need a background check, fingerprinting, and a TB test. If you have those and they are within 2 years, then you can use those. I just need a copy of them so that I can check off that you have proven that you have passed the clearance checks to be able to work with children. If you haven't, I have set up the process for you in Blackboard. So when you go into Blackboard, what you're going to notice is that I have everything available to you from the very beginning. So each week or every couple of weeks, I will still be checking in with you, but this is not going to run like a very structured, even a structured online course, because you're not going to be required to do discussion boards. You're not going to be required to have weekly check-ins. Basically, what you're going to want to do is read over the assignment packet that's in Blackboard for you, as well as go through Blackboard. And as long as you complete all of the requirements by the end of the summer semester, which is going to be around August 1st, then you're going to be fine. But I am going to be checking in with you, and I want you to feel like you can contact me anytime that you have a question or a concern. It's not like I'm dropping off the face of the earth. It's just this is going to really kind of be you're at your own pace. So all of the information that you need can be found over here in the links. When you click on course information, you're going to find the syllabus. You'll see the course schedule, but remember that you're not going to be tied to having to have things in by a certain date. But if you wanted kind of a guideline on how to stay on track, that's what the course schedule is for. But when you go into the course information, this is where you're going to find the information about the background check. So we have started using a company called Castle Branch, And they actually are able to help you get both the background check and the fingerprinting done in one process. So if you click on the background check procedures, you're going to find that we have a step-by-step process that you can go through with Castle Branch. Background checks come back quicker than the fingerprinting, and I will be very honest with you and tell you that the fingerprinting probably will not come back before the end of this semester because that's done by the FBI. However, the new regulation that went into effect last summer says that any person who's working with children has to have the fingerprinting done now. So this is going to help you anyways for when you're starting to work in the field because you're going to have it. But as long as I have the background check, then you're going to be able to get into the classroom. But we have the step-by-step procedures for you with going through Castle Branch, and there's the code that you have to use, but it should just kind of walk you through it. I would suggest doing this immediately because you are not going to want to have to hold up in order to get into the classroom. But as I said, if you already have had the background check done, then and it's current within the last 2 years, then you can just send me a copy of it, and then you're able to go right into the classroom. So those are the things that are going to be in the course information. Here is our observation handbook. A lot of it you already know because you're at the end of the program, but just remember the ethical obligations that you have, privacy, respect for the children and the families, those kinds of things. Here's where you're going to find the assignment packet, and that pretty much is just a packet that I put together that lists every assignment that you're going to have to do for this course. Really, the main thing other than the 60 hours is your final exam is a reflective journal. It's 7 different journal entries, but I have them all set up for you so you can do it as you go. As long as all 7 are done by the end of the semester, then you have completed your final exam. Again, the syllabus, course schedule, all of that is going to be in the course information. But when you go here under the course content, you're just going to see different folders. Again, I'm going to kind of guide you through, but everything's available to you from the very beginning. If you go under assignments, that's where you're going to see everything you have to do. So I'll kind of walk you through this just so you have an idea of what it is you're going to be doing. So here's the 7 journals that you're going to be working on. And once you click on this, it's going to take you to a page where you can type directly into the box and click submit, and then you're done. The first 2 journals can be done before you get into the classroom because it's things like personal background, how your family felt about education, what you're hoping to get out of the experience. Journals 3, 4, and 5 are going to look very similar. 4 and 5 are actually going to be exactly the same. However, you're supposed to be doing them at different points during your 60 hours, so your answers will be a little bit different. 6 and 7 are going to be done at the end. They're kind of your reflection pieces. But again, as long as you've done all 7, then you've completed your final exam. So when you first get into the classroom, the thing that you need to do is called this self-assessment checklist. So the instructions and everything are down here. This is the actual checklist that you can type directly into. And I've even given you one that a previous student had done that was really well done. But you need to do this before you ever start teaching in the classroom because this is kind of your pre-survey of what things do I already know I do well, but what things do I know I need to work on? Because that's maybe what you're going to work on while you're in the classroom. So that's one of the first things that you need to get done. So please do this. I'd say at least 2 days in at your site, but before you start teaching. Then you're going to be teaching your 5 lessons. And so make sure that your teacher has approved them, has looked over them. If your teacher looks at one and says, well, I like this, but I want you to kind of tweak this or that, I would suggest doing that. And sometimes they may even say, well, we're really going to be doing this theme for this week. Could you do a lesson on that? The entire purpose of this course is to teach the lessons and get the feedback from the instructor. And at this point, you should be very familiar with creating a lesson plan. But if you want to review everything you need, including a narrated PowerPoint, a recorded instruction that I did in a face-to-face class, all of it is there. The other thing that you need to know is that all 5 of your lesson plans need to be evaluated by your teacher. And so the lesson plan forms are also in this folder for the lesson plan as well. The one thing to know about your grade for your lesson plan, it is not based on how well you did in the classroom. It's not based on whether or not it was a complete hit or it was a complete bomb. To be completely honest, the majority of your grade is coming from your self-reflection. Make sure that you are extremely detailed in your self-reflection. It should be 3 paragraphs. And if you look in this folder, you're going to see examples of how to write a self-reflection, but you're really focusing on 3 main concepts. One is, how did the lesson go? So kind of give me an overview of how it went. 2 is how, if you felt like the children met the objectives of what you wanted them to learn, and giving examples whether they did or they didn't. And then also reflecting on, how would I do this differently next time? So some lessons that you've learned, things that you might modify. But make sure that you go through the instructions on the 3 different paragraphs for the lesson plan. So that really is where the majority of your grade is coming from. And after you have completed a lesson plan, you can submit them here in the different links, and you can upload the teacher evaluation when you upload that as well, or you can save the evaluations and turn them all in at the end. Finally, you are going to have a final evaluation that your teacher is going to do, and then you are also going to do the same final evaluation, but yours is going to include a 1-page self-reflection. So make sure that when you're getting close to the end that you have the teacher fill out this final evaluation. And so that really is all that you're going to be doing as you go throughout this course. As I said, there will be no discussion boards. So really you're going to be working at your own pace, and you can finish as quickly as you want, but again, you do have the full 10 weeks. So as I said, I am here to guide you. I'm here to help as you go, and I am definitely going to be checking in with you, posting announcements saying, hey, I posted this resource for you. Make sure that you take a look at it. But again, my biggest suggestions as you're starting this class is get that background check done if you haven't already done it, and start working on your lesson plans, getting those together, and finding a place to go. So for probably all of you, this is one of the last courses, if not the last course that you're taking in order to complete your associate's degree. So congratulations on getting to this point. And I'm going to do everything I can to make it successful as one of your last courses, and hopefully an experience that you really enjoy. So have a great time in the classroom. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I will see you as we go throughout the course.